Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield back at Miami Beach at one of the most surprising restaurants I've been to in a long time. One of the best meals I've had in years. Congratulations to Chef Jonathan Lane. How are you?
Thank you very much. Well, thank you and welcome to Miami.
Yeah, well, I've not been here long and the food I've had has been very good, but your food is exceptional. Your flavours, your colours, your presentation truly is exceptional. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. You know, we take an approach here at the restaurant Traymore and at the hotel in general as being a light, fresh, something different that you find in Miami. We source the best ingredients, the best fish, either here in South Florida or in the United States. And so I'm glad that you notice that we are focusing on that style of freshness and lightness and something that's a little different than the rest of the beach has to offer.
It was so delicate and so beautifully put together, but what was most thrilling was the fact you didn't shroud your amazing fish in sauces that took away from the flavour. And that's important to you, to let the food shine. And of course, when you've got lobster, there's not a lot you need doing with it.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the beauty of, I think that South Florida in general has gotten away from the idea that we have beautiful fish here and we have beautiful products in the United States. And if you just honor the product and just represent what it really is about, and you give it a few touches here and there, but really honor the product, then you're going to have an outstanding product. You know, when you sit down and when you ate, it's straightforward, and you can tell the difference between buying something that's not good and something that's very good. And we take great pride in who we source from and what we do.
This is all relatively new as we sit here at the Metropolitan Hotel. As we look this way, we're towards the city. The other way, we're inches from the beach. And I took a tour of this hotel earlier, and it's amazing how close you are to the beach. And this is really a 21st century hotel, but keeping the old-fashioned values of these great sort of Art Deco buildings. We go back to the 20s and 30s, and they've kept that, even though this hotel is renovated less than a year ago, the scalloped edging and things like that. It's very important they've kept that history.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you talk to anyone, I have some very good friends that have been on the beach for 60, 70 years. I mean, it's something that represents the Miami Beach scene, and I think it's important that, you know, that you keep some characteristics of the beach. Of course, in the United States, we tend to sometimes wipe out what's important to a city and make it all about, you know, the malls and such. That we keep something like this beautiful hotel, the Metropolitan by Traymore, Como and Traymore. We keep something that's so beautiful about it, and keep that. You know, if you look back on the history of the beach, I mean, the entertainers and the actors and the characters and such. It's important to keep the characteristics of the beach and the city intact.
And it is totally unique. When I look at your CV and career, you've worked everywhere, and this is my first time in Miami. It's very different. It's odd that way we're in a metropolitan city, this way we're in Barbados. It's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's funny. If you go over to Miami, the city itself, people will say, "Oh, you live on the beach." Well, you know, it's almost like a different world. And we're just literally 20 minutes over the bridge. People do think it's a different world, and it is. But it's something that's special, and it's been around in South Florida for a long time, and it's had its ups and downs, and it has a lot of history, and it's a fun place to work, and it's its own little world. Kind of like Key West is its own little world. Miami Beach is a special place, and you would be surprised. Yeah, we're only 20 minutes from Miami, but some people in Miami think we're 8 hours away on a flight.
How is it for you? I mean, you've come from New York where, let's face it, you can't fake it there. If you're a chef who isn't up to the job, you'll be kicked out in a heartbeat. You spent most of your career there proving yourself in the Four Seasons, I think, which it doesn't get any bigger and better than that. And here you are now in Miami. How do the two compare? Do you have to cook differently, or is it the same food, just done in a different way?
No, that's a great question. Great question. You know, I'm fortunate. I did travel a lot from different places. A lot of my career was in New York and Chicago. I started my career in South Florida back in the early 90s, and at that time there was very much a focus on food, and it got away. So when I decided to come back to South Florida with my working in New York and Chicago, I wanted to bring that same intensity. I didn't want to, and I'm not knocking any other restaurant, but you can find branzino and you can find ceviches. You can find everything here, the same food in the beach in Miami. I wanted to bring the kind of the intensity and the focus on local products, as you might see in New York City, or you might see in Chicago or San Francisco, but in a sense, generally in the United States now, really focus on the food and not just say, okay, this is what the people expect. No, let's do what I want to do, and let's focus on a great piece of fish. Let's really focus on that, and change it. Not change it, but just take a different avenue and give a more intense. Well, we've always said we want to be here for the locals, we want to be here for the tourists, but we want to make sure that they don't feel like we're taking advantage of them, that we're giving this great product at a good price, and great service, great atmosphere, great liqueurs, great wines, and just take a focus that way. And I think that's kind of a New York, Chicago mentality of really about the guest, and not just here to make, of course, this is not just to make money. We're here to make our stamp.
It isn't lost, the irony that you're here in a town that's full of art, and you yourself are an artist. When I look at your food, I haven't seen such delicate presentation really since the first time I ate at Joel Robuchon. I mean, that incredible intensity of flavour matched with the visual is so important, because it is an experience. I mean, you can have the greatest flavours in the world, but if it looks dreadful, you're not going to enjoy it.
Well, exactly, and then once again that goes back to the beauty of South Florida, and that's why I came back down here, because there is such an abundance of great seafood, agricultural. You go down to Homestead, which is an hour from here, and there's these farmers, these small, and there's big production, but there's small farmers that are just making beautiful tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchinis, and this is our time of year right now. Where everyone else is in the winter, this is our time of year that we get this beautiful product. So let's make it simple. Let's make it shine. Let's let you eat it, and you say, okay, cucumbers are cute. This really tastes like a cucumber. This really tastes like a tomato. Or this fish I had is just wow. It's something it's so good. I mean, but he really didn't do much to it. It's just good, because you know what, we aggressively, me and my team aggressively source the best product.
Again, you're being very humble. You do a lot with your food. Let's just go through the menu. Firstly, you offered the most beautiful seafood platter. Again, not a lot done to it, just perfect. But then we moved on to the octopus, which was amazing, and the tuna tartare, which was just beautiful. Has fish always been your passion? Because you've worked in many different styles of restaurants.
Actually, yes, it has. I originate from Kansas, where they say beef is our drive. Of course, Kansas, and it's beef. But I'm an avid fisherman. My father was always taking me fishing my entire life. I've always, my mother and father from Minnesota, and the biggest fish, the best thing you can feed a person from Minnesota is walleye. Walleye is a beautiful fish, and I've always been raised on it. I find it so diverse. I mean, and the cooking fish is an art, because you can very easily mess it up quickly, or you can go the other way and cook it perfect. So it's sometimes with beef you can work around, and certain things you can work around, but fish is it goes one way or the other. And so I've always had a true passion for fish. I think it's so diverse. There's so many things you can do with it: raw, cooked, poached, braised, whatever you want to do. And it just offers such an abundance and such a challenge as a culinarian. And I think people love fish, and I'm happy that we're the Como has allowed me to really just let me do what I need to do, and that's the beauty of it, and that's what we do.
Next came the red snapper, which was truly delicious and done in a beautiful batter, sort of homage to our fish and chips in a way. And you gave me this broken down tartar sauce, which was your own version of it. Just stunning. How long do all these things take to put together? I mean, you must get here about 7 o'clock in the morning to get ready for a 7 p.m. service.
I do. I do. When I knew you were coming, I said, well, I knew you were from the UK. I said, well, this is kind of, I wouldn't say the word ballsy, but it is. I mean, you come from the land of the best. I just came from the UK, and you come from the land of the best fish and chips. Right. And this is kind of a play on that in a sense. We, a broken down remoulade and the fish, but it's also a very simple dish. The hearts of palm is from Homestead. Most of the ingredients are local. The fish is mahi-mahi, which of course is as local as it gets. but it's all about the batter, as you know. And it could go it's very easily, it's a dish go both ways. It goes good or bad. And serving it to you, you could say, nice American try, it doesn't work. Or it goes well. And I think that dish is something it's really about. That dish really focuses on the fish and the technique. Because if the batter's not right and it's not fried properly, if the remoulade is just, it's really a naked dish, and it's out there. And if it's bad, it's bad. And it's something that we focus on every day. You know, it has to be the best hearts of palm. It has to be the best mahi-mahi, and it has to be in a tremendous. And we did steal the battle, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'll give you 10 out of 10 for that. It was stunning and delicious. And then we moved on to desserts, which again are worth coming for in themselves. For me, there's two things in a restaurant that put me off. Bad bread and bad desserts mean I'm not coming back. You're such a hit with that. Again, the artistry of what you did with those desserts. We had 3 cannolis, the most beautiful desserts, fresh strawberries. You put everything in there that you could possibly want, and the sorbets. And then let's talk about the chocolate dish that you did with those blood oranges, and again these things on top that were the most beautiful sort of fondant wrapped in chocolate. I mean, 1 million pieces to this dish.
Yeah, I mean, the rocks are, I mean, my pastry chef Emmanuel, he's world class. He's worked in Spain, and he's worked in the UK. He's been in France for many years. So, you know, working with a gentleman like that, his ideas, his technique, his refinement and refreshment, the way we look at things, just it all works together. Nothing is muddled, nothing is overdone. But when you eat it, we want it to be just exactly what the whole meal, I think, has been for you. It's very clean and very simplistic. You know, what we call them the rocks is what you know, it gives you a surprise. And that kind of goes along with the fish and everything else. You want to eat the fish like, wow, that fish really is amazing. And why? Well, it's just well done. So when you eat Emmanuel's desserts, you see this beautiful presentation, this clean, the execution is out of this world. But when you eat it, everything is clean. And the blood oranges, I mean, something that's huge here in South Florida right now. It's just in season, so we take that, and we didn't do much. You don't do much with the blood oranges, right? I mean, but they're so good right now. So why take something? It'd be like putting asparagus on the menu right now when asparagus is not hip or is not in season. So it's just another approach Emmanuel and I look at is what can we get right now at the time, and it seems to be paying, you know, seems to be working. And when it's so happy for myself and my team when we hear people say exactly what you're saying. We're doing very simplistic, clean, flavorful food. And, you know, we're a small band of bandits, but we're tackling the city at full force.
Congratulations and thank you for your time. I can't say enough good things. I've been doing this a long time, and for me to find a restaurant that I want to come back to is actually very rare. If I don't eat another meal during this trip, it will be fine, because this really was exceptional. Thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for coming to Miami Beach and the Como Hotel, and we look forward to having you back soon.
Thank you for your time.